Welcome to another show of, I was going to say, welcome to another show of the Kat Mac. What am I saying? You know, when you do that many talks, you lose your voice, you start to lose your train of thought. And you know what? I'm no different to anybody else. Hey there, I'm Kat Mac. I am the founder of the Kat Mac Talk Show, where I share your voice because your voice matters. Why? Because if I'm not sharing your voice that somebody out there that needs your genius zone will not be seen. It's that simple in a nutshell. And I'm all nasally because I've got a cold. But as Mel Robbins says, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you so much, Hallie Glasbrenner, for being on my show. You are a best-selling author from the Empower Her Powerhouse Edition. You're a women's empowerment coach. You have a story, which we'll share in a second. You help high performing women navigate their thing with chronic pain. Why? Because you've gone through that. That's your story. So when you go through something, I'm going to say that you actually have the authority to share it and become an expert in it. So, Haley or Hallie? How do you like
Hallie.
Haley?
It's Hallie.
Haley, why did you decide to put your pen to paper and now become a best-selling author?
I wanted to get my message out there. I felt like if I have gone through this and I'm just a small town girl, I'm sure there are other people in the world that are searching, just very passionately looking for an answer or a solution to their problem. And I believe that, as I've come across good things that have helped me, I want to share the same in the same way. I want to share the solutions for people who are looking, who need that.
So can you share with me like an example? Because I know throughout your whole life you've gone through, you've had chronic pain. There were no solutions. You were like this. What is going on? I know that there's something, but please help me. And I'm actually going to quote you to prompt you because this is what resonated with me. And of course, I say this to many, many women that I have on my show. My show is purely selfish on my behalf because I learned from you and I picked something from you that I'm like, aha moment. So you said determination covered what diagnosis couldn't. Because I know you have a rare muscle disorder. So I'd like for you to talk a little bit about that. I stopped doing more. I did what mattered. And I'm like, wow. Yeah.
In a nutshell, you have to collapse your whole life into this 30-year segment. College, getting through college, tests, things that are painful with headache, migraine. And so you just endure, right? And you think when you're going to become a working girl, that some of this will go away.
You pause you just there because something that I didn't actually share with the viewers because your story comes in the back end of you being a nurse with chronic
Yes.
pain that you didn't know. That I'd love you to talk
Yes.
about.
Okay. So, yes, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 24 years and had to leave the field, leave the profession for the last 9 years because of the symptoms. And my legs get spasticity into my back. And so all my muscles get very tight. And I had a muscle biopsy, and I have a really rare disorder. It's genetic called myopathy. And so the cells don't regenerate or rejuvenate as they should. They're like a star. They kind of go through that life cycle and then they die. And then they do it at a rapid rate. So it's really a cruddy diagnosis. And if I hadn't been a nurse, I don't know that I've been so persistent to continue pursuing and advocating so heavily because you just get so tired out of, gee, it's just the latest, new designer diagnosis. Like,
Thing.
really, fibromyalgia after all these years? You're really telling me? I had that diagnosis as a 21-year-old. So
Really?
what a
Oh my God.
just go ahead and treat me for it. I'm not prescribed anything because you're afraid these drugs are addictive. So then they add in Lyrica. And guess what? The pain in my feet go away and I can walk better. So I've, had these periods that have waxed and waned where I've had muscle weakness, to the point where I just can't physically hold down a job. To nursing is pretty demanding. It's fast paced. You have to hustle between rooms and it would get pretty difficult to do that. And then the pain dealing with it on the flip side at home, you're getting bandaged up enough just to go back in, you know? So um I lived in that pattern for so many years and then children came along. And so I had 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, and they're all 18 months apart. So by the time I had my 3rd child, I was really struggling physically. I had a triple jog stroller that I tucked them all into. And in the meantime, they would go ahead and be ready for the walk. And I'd be like, oh, I get better grab that ice pack. My back is starting to really hurt. So there were things that just weren't sustainable.
No.
And I needed to find answers. So from the time my littlest was born until today, so that's 19 years. I had pursued more advanced testing and physical testing and even a trial of medication. So it all were denied.
What did you do? Because please read the chapter. You need to go out and read Hallie's and all of the amazing women that are in the Powerhouse edition. But what did you because you've got resilience. Now, whether it's because of your training as a nurse, because you need to have resilience, I don't know, because you're in the firing line, you're a frontliner, but your tenacity, and I said this before we got into the show, that you're quite a positive woman per se. So what got you through, and continuously gets you through, because not only you are not doing what you loved, but you have changed your whole vocation. What did you do that you can share with women out there that are feeling like, you know what? I feel her. I'm that woman too. What did she do? Give me an answer.
To get down and gritty, you really have to. I became bedridden, right? So then I became the recipient of the care I was giving. And I am a person, shy by nature, outgoing. People wouldn't really know that I'm shy, but really have to step outside of my comfort zone. So when someone's trying to take care of me, I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I don't need that much. Try not to be so much for people. But it really wasn't. You have a bunch of helper type. You need to find your helper tribe. They need to come find you. And in that way, I found social workers and I found caregivers who were full of tidbits of knowledge. And there was one who really was instrumental. She's like, you need to go get sick at this hospital in Minnesota or right across the border. Just go outside your borders and get ill. And I did. I finally took matters into my own hands
Yeah.
and I went to another state and I kept asking in the ER, they triaged me ahead of about 80 patients. And I was in anaphylaxis, needing epinephrine, and I was max dosed on steroids, So I pulled out my calendar and I made visuals for the doctor. She triaged me and she said, that's what I've needed. You've been on this high dose steroid for 2 weeks and off a week and then on 2 weeks. So I'm going to admit you. We're going to get to the root of this. And that was the start of the turning of the tide, of
Yeah.
getting other people involved and realizing the seriousness that you could go on vacation and get sick too. So you go present yourself to another facility who has no idea who you are and they're going based on the last assessment or two and they have their own set of eyes.
Yeah.
So the more eyes you can get on your problem, the better.
I love that you said, and I wrote it down 3 times just now and circled it 3 times. You found your helper tribe. You found your helper tribe. So I love that you did that, because you can't do it alone. And as women, we're like, okay, we're cool. It's only a little bit of a cold. It's only a little bit of this and it's only a little bit of that. And it's like, no, it's not. So I'm glad that you went out and found your helper tribe, because we all need a helper tribe in every parts of our lives. And I love the fact that you teach women you are now the forerunner of their helper tribe. So you're their helper tribe.
Yes. It's exciting when you see looking back, you're like, okay, nobody should live with debilitating pain to the point that you can't parent. You're parenting from the couch. That's in my medical record, you know, and I had to get a different refrigerator with a middle drawer that they could pull out because my littles were
Wow.
hungry. So I food prepped all of their snacks and their meals. They would just open the fridge door. So if I was having health issues, literally on the couch, I could give them directions from the couch until their father got home or another caregiver came.
Yeah.
And so you really have to make do. You have to get creative.
What would you be most proud of thus far?
The ability to look in, it's a tough question. That's, to contribute back, but to make a meaningful contribution to others. What makes me lit up is to see other people that if I went through 3 years of it, they might go through a month of it, 2, 3 months at the most, and get an answer.
Yeah.
That's exciting to me
Yeah.
to have that sort of progress,
Yeah.
that sort of validation
Yeah.
of, this is the right track to go on. Keep going back to the same doctor. Don't get offended. It's not personal, it's professional. So
Yeah.
you're going to go get another assessment. And
Yeah.
I know a mom who went through 21 doctors to get her son diagnosed with autism when it was unfamiliar at the time. So I put that hat on and I rode that horse for a while. And I was making appointments as I was leaving doctor's offices. I was scanning the area. I'm like, this is 3 hours from home. I'm going to make an appointment there. You just keep persevering because you get to the point where there's nowhere but up. You have to participate in the lifting of yourself. You have to decide how hungry you are. I
Yeah.
guess I'm a fairly competitive individual that way. My friends got me into running, and I really like to run for the stress relief. So to
So are
me,
you
to
running
be,
now?
no, I cannot. I had a total knee replacement,
Yes. Yes.
but so I have a soft connective tissue disorder too. So I really am an enigma. But
She's running now. That's amazing because I know your mind is so strong. And you are. I'm going to go back to saying that you have become other people's helper tribes. I'm just going to reinforce that because it's coming through so clearly. So if you were to look in the mirror and your 20-year-old self, the one that was studying to be a nurse that didn't know what was going to be ahead, what would you say to her today, knowing that what you know right now?
that you matter so much that you're not an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Your needs are not an inconvenience whatsoever. That if you have migraine or debilitating muscle pains in your legs, because I have spasticity, they're like, your legs should be fine. And now they're doing a new treatment called needling, and it's making the spasms go away. Like, oh my gosh,
Isn't
incredible
needling
pain relief.
interesting? Totally
Yes,
digressing, but they're using needling. I mean, needling has been around for millions of years, right? It's been around for millions of years. But however, recent past, they're using it for very many other areas, which they never used to. So I'm glad they're doing
right.
that.
So yeah, she was on my trap 2 weeks ago. And she goes, well, this is my third attempt to get into your muscle. I said, really? I can't feel it. So it took her four
Wow.
tries. And she got in and then she set it. And I think it dropped about an inch,
Yeah,
a good inch I regained.
yeah,
And I want to help others like that because life shouldn't feel painful. You shouldn't have to replace every seat and bed in your house to
yeah,
find comfort.
yeah.
And if you say you need a wheelchair and need to be an electric motorized wheelchair, you likely do. Because people looking in on you, if it's invisible disability, like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so your joints sublux,
Yeah.
and then you have joint or muscle spasticity, what a weirdo combination. So I really do not do well in a traditional scooter. Even though
No.
I'd love to get away with that, I really need a tilt recline. And I have POTS. So my heart rate fluctuates and my blood pressure tanks. And so my doctor affectionately refers to me as her walking quadriplegic. And the team at lacrosse, they say, we don't even know how you raise children, Allie. We have
Yeah,
no
I can
clue.
tell you.
We have no clue.
I'm going to tell you right now, closing. Thank you for sharing your version of what you would say to your former self, because I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why you are where you are is because of your tenacity, your inquisitive nature, and your resilience to say, no, needs to be more. And you've become your own diagnostic machine. I just made
I
that
love
up,
it.
but it makes
I
sense.
love it. It is. It's true.
And now you
Yes.
teach others. You share your wisdom with others to go, no, how about this? How about
Right.
that? So thank you so much for sharing your journey because it matters. And if
Thank
we
you.
can make 1 inch of change in the world, you're a product of the product to say, hey, mate, Aussie terms, don't just go at one. You can go knock on the door. Like you just said, you went to a different state. If that's what you need to do to get clarity for what you feel is not feeling right in your gut, because your gut said, yeah, nah, yeah, nah,
There's more.
there's more, yeah, nah. So, Hallie, thank you so much for sharing your story. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you have a smile on your face because that is also what gets you through
For sure.
your mindset.
Your mentality. Absolutely. Thank
Yeah,
you.
not a problem. You
Thanks.
have an awesome night. Bye for now.
You too. Bye.
Well, that was